In today's time and age, with AI around the corner and maybe surpassing the benefits of what analytics was providing us, digital transformation, I think it has taken the upper edge over the mindset of people. So, in back in 2009, when we are doing networks, which is basically for security, we have a physically segregated network, which is what is recommended normally, where we deploy the entire security system, which could be your CCTV system, your access control system, your intrusion detection, or it can even be your hostile vehicle mitigations, all those things. So the ideology was nobody will be able to hack it, and your physical security network is secure. Because now client is asking us, so what is the ecosystem which you're trying to give us? What is this? What is the system which what you're trying to sell us, and how is it beneficial for us on an operational perspective, and also on a user journey perspective? How can it be something which people are not consciously being aware of that I'm being scanned or I'm being vetted at an entry.
But what are the key factors which large enterprises or large customers consider when moving to cloud, from in terms of security or privacy, or what are the key factors they consider?
Them, it's basically the new generation of people like taking that risk, and there is old generation to which I belong, where people think that maybe on-prem servers are the best way to go ahead. I would say it's just about the mindset and people, what kind of people you hire into the business.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Physical Security Unlocked. We have a very special guest today. Our guest today is Sohan Anirudhan. Hi, Sohan. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Rohin. Hello all. Nice to be here.
Yeah, why don't you start with a quick introduction to yourself and tell us about who you are, what you do, and what is your background?
Sure. So, hello everyone. I'm Sohan Anirudhan. I'm basically from Bangalore. I passed out from Chikballapur HJCIT University back in 2009. So, as you all know, there was a recession back in 2009. So, I didn't get a job in Bangalore. So, I was maybe fortunate to get an opportunity in UAE back then because I got to work on a lot of interesting projects. And then again, on the other side, I was unfortunate that I had to be away from my family and friends during the course of my career abroad. So I joined as a systems engineer working on Dubai Metro, which was my first project. And I was working in ELV. So I started with passive cabling infrastructures and access control, public address systems. It was a nice package. All the ELV systems which are coming inside a metro station, I was doing it as an implementation, as a system integrator. And time passed by. So I grew in my industry. I changed a couple of companies, and I was working as a senior project manager for Gulf Business Machines. By the time it was around 2016, and then I chose to move back to India. So now I'm working as an associate director for audiovisuals, ICT, telecommunications, physical security, and smart city for Egis in India. So Egis is a very nice company. It's about having around branches in more than 100 plus countries. The annual turnover last year was around 2.5 billion euros, and we are working in a large a portfolio of projects starting from small residential buildings to even districts and airports, and a lot of interesting projects. So I'm working over there as an associate director, where I'm leading a team around 18 to 20 people back down here in Bangalore, and we have a wider team who sits in the UAE as well. And it's kind of a collaborative approach between UAE and also India, where we work on a lot of pan-India projects and mostly focused on GCC right now. So that's about it as a quick introduction. Personally, I am a father. I'm having two kids who are studying in the elementary school. My wife, Roshni, she is here along with me, along with my mother as well. And my sister is working as a contracts manager back in Abu Dhabi from the past 20 years. So that's about it as an introduction from my side.
Yeah, great. It's good to see that you started in Middle East, Dubai. I think UAE. recently we started our office, and we were really amazed to see the infrastructure there. So you must have seen the evolution of the infrastructure there when you were there, right? And now I think India is kind of going through that phase. It's really a lot of infrastructure. So how do you see India currently evolving when it's in terms of its infrastructure, digital infrastructure today?
I think India, when I was working in UAE, I was not having that kind of a visibility as to how much has changed since I left back in 2009. But I was really surprised the way India has moved in the past 10 years, I would say 10 or 15 years, I would say. It's too good. Like it's kind of more impressive than what other countries are doing right now, even though maybe not, on a luxury level, but at a base level as to making digitalization available to the public. The UPI payment is a very good example. Like I think it's doing wonders compared to other countries. There are some concerns, or what I would say, limitations in budgets when it comes to Indian projects. I'm not saying every Indian project. There are special cases where budgets are available, where they would go with a very good system, which we as consultant propose. But then again, there's always, I have seen it in the physical security industry, it is always treated as a niche thing when it comes to a construction. In the construction industry, majority of the focus goes to the architecture and the interior design and mostly the structural part of it. But when it comes to niche services like IT or security, there's always withholding from customers to not invest much, and they just want the base system just to keep things running. But now I think it has started changing a bit. People have understood the importance of technology and how it can provide more security and even cost savings in the long run for their projects.
Tell me a little bit about your current work role, and kind of customers or projects you deal with. Is it mostly government or public sector? Scale of the projects which you usually deal with?
Okay, so as I told, Aegis works on a large portfolio of projects. We are working on simple residential projects, which could be just apartments and common amenities like gymnasiums and swimming pools. And we are working on complex projects like airports. Like example, one of the projects which we worked on last year was the Neom Airport, which was coming up within the Neom line, which I think was a very, very nice project in itself. And there are a lot of other projects. Now we are doing one of the projects for district at a district level, where in Saudi Arabia there's a new district coming up, and we are doing the entire master planning, the security strategy, the smart city strategy, and every plot. Like I would say around maybe around 800 to 1,000 plots within that master plan. They all are going to follow the strategy which we are proposing for the project. So it's a diverse scale at which we work, and we have teams who take care of complex things and also simple things. I mean, just about everything, government related projects, or it could be even small residential projects from customers. There are theme parks which we are doing, which is very interesting for me, because there's a lot of audiovisuals and security study which we do for theme parks is really something which is outstanding with our team. So I mean, auditoriums, schools, a lot of projects.
I mean, if you can give me a flavor of what kind of digital transformation initiatives are happening in these projects.
Okay. So in today's time and age, with AI around the corner, and maybe surpassing the benefits of what analytics was providing us, digital transformation, I think it has taken the upper edge over the mindset of people. So basically, I will just give you a brief about what I was going through back in 2009 and how it has changed today, at least from my perspective, which is what I can tell you about. So back in 2009, when we were doing networks, which is basically for security, we have a physically segregated network, which is what is recommended normally, where we deploy the entire security system, which could be your CCTV system, your access control system, your intrusion detection, or it can even be your hostile vehicle mitigations, on all those things. We were always proposing physically segregated networks, which is basically a network on its own, which doesn't have any interconnectivity with Wi-Fi or data or telephone, which normally people have access to. so it was like physically secluded. So the ideology was nobody will be able to hack it, and your physical security network is secure. Now I can say that that mindset has slowly, maybe it is fading away a bit, because now client is asking us, so what is the ecosystem which you're trying to give us? What is this, what is the system which what you're trying to sell us, and how is it beneficial for us on an operational perspective, and also on a user journey perspective? How can it be something which people are not consciously being aware of, that I'm being scanned or I'm being vetted at an entry. So digitally, I would say it has moved way beyond our expectations, and it has really come to a place where things are more, I would say, included rather than having physical segregation. And having said that, when you integrate the security network with a lot of other networks, a simple example is I would take is a smart city, where everything is speaking to each other, including the security systems. So in such cases, I would say it is obviously a matter of concern that cybersecurity for a physical security system is becomes a paramount importance. Now, what we do when it comes to district level projects or even small scale projects where we find it sensible enough to propose something like this, we ask the customer to go with a cloud based platform, because end of the day it's all about what is the capex and what is the opex for the end user. So we try to reduce the opex by proposing cloud-based solutions where they're getting an enterprise-grade cybersecurity feature, whereas all these systems are integrated with each other and they're getting a live ecosystem in order to have that user journey.
Yeah, I mean, you touched upon the right point where I was heading towards is the cloud-based approach of offering solutions, right, as compared to on-prem. Because we, as a company, when we started with cloud. I mean, we still don't offer a full-fledged on-prem. We always believed in cloud first and mobile first approach for our solutions, physical security solutions. But when we were starting to approach government projects or public infrastructure projects, they were all mostly looking for on-prem solutions. So it's good to see that you are saying that there are shifts happening. But is this a real shift happening? Do you see government and everybody opening up to cloud or public infrastructure projects?
I would say it's 50-50 at the moment, but it is better than 2080, which was like back in 10 years back. I would say that's a paradigm shift towards the future of hosting services on the cloud, where customers realize that having an on-prem server with the initial OPEX cost is not that great when it is basically evolving every day, especially with AI on the horizon. There is a lot of improvements which are happening with respect to technology, with respect to how a user experience is being created, with respect to a lot of things. And I would say, when you look at it as a capex and opex, when you're having on-prem servers, you're spending quite some money to host servers like those inside a room, which itself is consuming a lot of energy for cooling things down and a lot of other things. And when the cybersecurity part is another thing, you might need to hire a lot of people to maintain those servers, install the application patches in there are so many things when you're maintaining something on-prem. But when you're moving to on-cloud solutions, you're basically getting an enterprise grade cybersecurity for free as part of the subscription charges. Or I don't know if it's a one-time charge or if it's a subscription-based charge, which normally vendors charge. But I think that's worth the money and less of a headache for the customers.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely subscription based. I mean, it's like using any online cloud service, right? But what are the key factors which large enterprises or large customers consider when moving to cloud, from in terms of security or privacy, or what are the key factors they consider?
It's more of a cybersecurity. That's the major concern for customers, and the mindset, or I would say the traditional mindset, that a physical server is secure, which is in my room, which is within my control. So that mindset is what caused that prolonged period of usage of on-prem servers. But I would say there's not much of a change when it comes to certain people in the industry who are having a traditional mindset, where they think that the existing systems which we have been using so far traditionally is the best way to keep things. And but they're missing out on a lot of things, the features which are coming with on cloud services, or everyday improvements which are happening with every update which is happening with the server or with respect to the on cloud services. It's quite a lot of change which can be seen now. How people accept this, it's up to them. It's basically the new generation of people like taking that risk, and there is old generation to which I belong, where people think that maybe on-prem servers are the best way to go ahead. I would say it's just about the mindset and people,
Yeah.
what kind of people you hire into the business.
Yeah, definitely. I do agree with that. Half of the problem is the mindset and not actually the security or anything. It's just the
Yeah.
change. Yeah. Yeah. So moving on to physical security, right? Which our focus as a company is, which is access control. How we started with the mobile access as our primary offering, right? Essentially, what we told our customers is, why are you using your cards for access control? Smartphone is a device which everybody carries, and that should be your access card, right? That was the pitch to our customers, and so far, yeah, it's been going well. How do you see? I mean, still today, even mobile penetration for access control, I would say that in India, the penetration is probably less than 1 or 2%, right? There's still a lot of corporates, enterprises use access cards. Do you see that mobile phone as an access card will fly at a where you will see like 40-50% penetration?
I'm sure it should, because these days, no matter what you forget, even your wallet, nobody forgets their phone when they're going out. So I am. It's basically, again, it's something related to the mindset that a card is more secure than a phone, and phones can be hacked by others because of a lot of scams happening these days. People are taking away monies from accounts. People think phone is not that secure of a thing, but the digital ID which can be created on a phone with certificates which is validated only for that user, or with these days with respect to the face ID, I think it should be a safe bet, and eliminating. And one more thing is, sustainability wise, Aegis is a company which supports a lot of sustainability, and when the government has gone cardless with UPI, and even Aadhaar cards are available with digital ID, I think access control should not be left behind, and I think it should be something which should be a norm, at least in the next 10 years.
Great. I mean, that's a very good thought to see, because even in the US, where I'm currently based, and the penetration is still very low, right? And I think there is the reason is more traditional than just at a corporate level. Somebody has to make a decision that we are going to switch fully digital, right? But the mindset is still not changed. So
I think it's better left it to be gradual, because there, like countries like US, it would still be good. In India, there is a large population who are working in the IT industry, who are well aware of how to use smartphones, and they know what are the do's and don'ts. So if you look at it on a majority level, who's using access control systems, I think uh, it should be already on the way. I'm not sure why until date it is like 2%, like what 1 or 2%. It's really surprising, that statistics.
yeah, I mean, a part of it is the existing install base, which is already there, and hardware devices which are already there, and cards which are already there. So making that the retrofit and switching cost is the main thing, right? So I think that's also a problem to be solved for the industry. I think how do you make the switch?
Makes sense. Okay, so basically existing installations is the
Yeah,
majority.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's what we see. But I think other than that, for physical security, I also wanted to touch upon biometric access, right? So 10 years back, fingerprint was very popular, but now face recognition is becoming more and more popular, right, in access control. So mobile and face is what we see that is big demand. Do you what is your opinion on face recognition technology being used so widely? Do you see any privacy issues, concerns, or adoption of facial recognition technologies?
I don't see much of a concern because your iPhone today works completely on facial ID, and traditionally, if you, I can tell you based on my experience in projects, I've been in projects where, example, one of a office project which I was doing back in Dubai, in 2018 before COVID, and the customer was very keen about facial ID because they wanted to have people seamlessly enter without showing carrying cards. And but when we went ahead with some solutions, it seemed that it was very expensive compared to biometric reader or the traditional card readers. So one of the driving factors of the decision for not going with facial ID, even though people really wanted to see what that was the budget. Even in a country like UAE, I'm talking about, where people have quite a lot of budget when it comes to ELV systems. So face ID surely is not at all, in my opinion, it is not at all something which is less safe. It is more of a advantage, especially after pandemics like COVID. Anything which is touchless, where you can enter, or any usage where you have a touchless interface, it's quite something which should click in the future as well. And now with the other pandemic, viruses which are spreading, I don't think that should be running out of business anytime soon. Yeah, comes down to what is the systems being used. Like I can say companies and like Apple, Samsung, they have facial ID recognition which works very well. So
Yeah.
I don't think that shouldn't be that should be a
One of the
challenge.
points I've heard from many customers or many players is that on phones, the face ID is actually stored on your phone, so it is not transmitted anywhere. Right? So
Mhm.
how do you? The concern they have is, are you capturing our face and then transmitting it somewhere so that then your face ID is kind of getting used somewhere else? How do you guarantee privacy of that face ID which you're recording, right?
Okay, like you mean on the phone? When you say on the phone, what do you mean? Like on the
So when
Face ID reader?
yeah, when you're using your iPhone, right? Like I use my iPhone to unlock my device. Everything
Yeah.
is happening here. Apple guarantees that they are not capturing our face and you transmitting that data somewhere else. It's on your phone, and it is stored securely in a secure element, in a memory which is very secure. Nobody can get into it, right? So that's why they can say that it's very secure, it's not going anywhere. But when a facial recognition device is capturing somebody's face, we have to guarantee to them that this data is not going anywhere, it's on the device. But still there is that hesitation that how do we know that it is on the device? What if you're taking my face data and using it somewhere else, or misusing it, right? Especially in the US, that concern is always there, especially in the developed countries. In India, maybe the mindset is different, so we see more adoption. But at enterprise level, we do see that questions coming that is facial recognition devices secure enough, or is the privacy being compromised?
See, if you look at it, even the traditional cards hold your data. Like it has some data on the system, even though you're not seeing it on the card. It's maybe your company's ID card, but on the back end, what information has been fed into the database, it's always there. Even when you look at biometrics like fingerprint readers, your fingerprint is there. So if they want access to any of the information related to that fingerprint, it's always there on the server, if it's an on-prem server. So when it comes to facial ID, I don't think it should be much of a concern. It's a common factor, that mindset, what people think that something is safe and something is not safe. And if you look at companies like Apple, their main motto, or the main, I'm not making an open statement about a company. I'm just telling you that, their main motto is security. The information which is stored on that person's iPhone is always his. And even if you are forgetting a password, and even if you are the owner and you're trying to unlock it and you're reaching to customer care, they will make sure that they make you spend enough time by the time they give you something to reset it back into the thing. So maybe stringent measures like those, where the data is being withheld within a private server or within the cloud. Maybe measures like those guarantee the people that okay, these are the measures which the people have taken with respect to the data being kept private within the server or within the cloud, and then it is going to be used only for this purpose. So a disclaimer or an agreement where a company can send this across when they're taking their face ID should be something legal enough to at least give some level of confidence to the users.
So, since we are talking about facial recognition, physical security also has video surveillance and video management as a big piece of the offering. Right? Just not access control, but video surveillance monitoring. How often? Have you seen trends where both these systems, access control and cameras, are now talking to each other, or do you see a trend where there is a single platform for managing everything?
It has been there ever. Like all the projects which I have done, they have always asked for an intrusion detection system integration with the security surveillance system. Whenever there is a door which is opening, they want the camera to pop up big on the screen, because looking at it from a security operator's perspective, when you're sitting in front of 10 displays which are having around 100 CCTVs, even if some crime happens in front of you over all those 100 CCTVs, you will tend to miss it. So these integrations, like whenever there's a door opening, if there's a CCTV popping up as a critical monitor, that is giving the operator an opportunity to identify it quickly and tell them that there's something wrong over there and you need to go there or send somebody over there, which normally doesn't happen, because I've worked in control rooms in really busy projects across Dubai, and there have been situations where the event has happened and somebody has reported it, and the guy is then checking, okay, where did it happen, like going through the recording again and again and again to see where that happened, to find the proof. So that is one aspect of it where your access control integration can trigger a lot of response time. It can reduce a lot of response time, which is very efficient for a security operations. And secondly, those days are gone as well. Now we are looking into analytics, which is maybe preventive approach. So in the beginning, the security was kind of reactive. The event or the incident happens, and then you're reacting to the incident. Now with analytics, it has become much towards a preventive approach. Example, one of the projects where I was working in Abu Dhabi, it was a theme park, and we were having this discussion with the customer operations team to learn what were their previous experiences, because they already had an existing theme park and they wanted to expand it to a bigger one because they had a good revenue in that. So we went to the security operations team who had been managing that asset for 5 to 6 years, and we asked them, is there something which you want us to do which would help you make your lives more easy, and which you don't have right now in the existing theme park? And they told that they have had incidents where people are jumping inside from from the road without buying a ticket, which is loss of revenue for them. And there were situations like that. And when we investigated, they had a perimeter wall which was almost 2.4 meters high, which is really hard to climb for a normal person. But when we did a site survey based on that comment what they gave, we saw that there was a lot of sand accumulated in some places where it had elevated and people were able to climb from there and jump in.
Yeah.
So then we knew that it was a genuine problem. Now going and clearing the sand every week is not going to happen in a place where you have sandstorm every now and then during summer. So we went ahead and we proposed the intrusion detection using CCTV analytics. So as soon as somebody crosses that perimeter, there is a pop-up which comes onto the monitor where they can see, okay, somebody has jumped in, and they know the color of the dress what the person is wearing, and they can also get a glimpse of his face, even though it's at a detection view because it's an outdoor area. They're not getting the exact face as an identification view, but they were able to find people. Like it was a helpful solution which we give. So yeah, integration wise, it's always been the case, and we normally go beyond. The traditional norms. We try to make use of the technology which is available these days, and ensure that the customers are getting more than what they're paying for. And it is possible with today's technologies. It is really possible.
With the AI today, these things are becoming very easy to implement and adopt also. Um, s- um, so existing cameras can become smarter now, right? Which by just analytics, right? So yeah, we definitely see that, and we are already offering similar solutions with edge analytics integrated with access control. But then it comes down to again this mindset about paying a fee or a subscription for that analytics module, right? Because a lot of customers who are just used to having cameras and not paying recurring fees or subscription fees. Do you see again now same is the mindset changing for paying for subscription on analytics for video?
It is important to educate the customers, which is really something which the industry sometimes doesn't look into. When the salesperson is going to get a project, he is normally looking at how to meet his targets, but he is not looking at. I'm not generalizing things, but I'm just talking about what happens normally. It's not that I'm blaming all the salespeople without reason. So if you're looking at the problem, what a customer is facing, and how is he even aware of the problem he's facing? By doing some checks, like what is his operations running like? Does the security team have any issues which they have faced in their existing assets? If there is something as a help what they need, which would make their operations much more easier. On that perspective, if you're asking them and educating them, then they feel that that small premium what they have to pay as a capex is not much of a thing, because they're getting that kind of an operational feature. It is all about educating. The only way the mindset can change from the traditional mindset to adopting technology on a day-to-day basis is by speaking to them. Is what I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think salespeople definitely need to be problem solving rather than selling. Right, that's what we also keep telling our
It's not a fault of theirs, because it's a rat race in this world. Everybody have their own targets what they need to achieve, and they're all behind it. But it actually works the other way around. When you're focused more on solving a problem than selling figures, I think the figures normally come by itself when you try to solve the problem.
Correct. Yeah. So that's why me and my co-founder keep going to the field and customers to see what is the problem they are facing, so we can offer a solution. If you offer a solution, they are more than willing to pay for it because they are solving the problem. Right, yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Uh, Switching gears on the infrastructure side, um, can you give some examples of, in India at least, of currently some projects which are going on which are focused on digital transformation, or some interesting use cases which you have encountered, you're working on?
See, not something particular in India, but there was one of our projects which we did for MNC firm who were headquartered in Saudi, where they wanted to be a net carbon zero building, which was a very big thing for them, and even for that country, it was the first of its kind. So they wanted something as a completely smart building, which we it was quite challenging for us to implement it, but we did discussions with them to understand what exactly they're looking for. We created a lot of user journeys for them in order to see what suits them best. And when we proposed the user journeys, they were so interested with respect to and they were so excited that even things like this are possible today with the technology. So it's basically, I can give you a scenario, one of the user journeys where we integrated a lot of things together in order to make that person, that individual, have a really exceptional user journey when he reaches office. So you're aware that these days people are doing hybrid policies, especially after COVID, where
Yeah.
people work 2 days or 3 days a week from office and 2 days back from home. So, what is one of the trends which you have seen? People have used this, companies have used this as to their advantage in a way where they don't want such a big office. They have maybe 50% of the size, and they're polling the seats or they rooster the seats whoever wants to come on that particular day. So when I am sitting in a house, I'm an employee who needs to go to office tomorrow. I am using a integrated platform or an application on my phone where I'm booking my seat in the platform, and I'm telling them that I'm going to be working from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and this is I need a seat, and it allocates a seat for me. So that's everything what he does. So on the background, the application has his car plate number, it has his access ID, ID card number, or if it's a biometric, it's biometric reader. Everything is there within the same database. So as soon as I book the seat, so it gives me a seat number. So and also it tells me that what time of the day is it best because of many people coming in. What time would be less of a congestion? What time would you like to leave home? So it's an interactive kind of a smart platform where the user can interact with it. So he needs to do 9 hours per day. It doesn't matter if he reaches at 9 or if he reaches at 10 or if he's reaching at 8. So for him, it is important that he reaches without much friction. It's a small thing when you look at it,
Yeah, no,
but when you look at going to office in Bangalore, like where I personally go to office, waking up, getting ready, dropping kids to school, and taking your vehicle to your office is more easier said than done. Now, when the guy approaches the office, the ANPR cameras recognize his number plate. It opens automatically, and he goes inside. The parking number, which is nearest to the seat which is allocated to him, is highlighted on the application. So he needs to go there. So the map is showing that way to that parking lot, and that parking bay which has been allocated to him. Once he gets down, the app again shows him which way he needs to take to the nearest elevator. The nearest elevator takes him to the seat directly. If he's the first person in the office, the lights are already on by the time he's down in the elevator. There's an integration between physical security, BMS system, CCTV system. It's completely an integrated platform, where this is how the world is moving right now. That's the direction in which it is going.
yeah, definitely. I think user experience is something which has started gaining a lot more importance now, of how to make the whole experience for employees, visitors. Like one of the use case we've been solving for is the lines which pile up at entrances of large tech parks and offices, just not of employees and visitors trying to get into the building, right? Because visitors have to be verified before they are let in, correct? So pre verifying visitors and then either sending them QR codes or having their faces registered so they can just walk in without friction, and same for employees, right? So I think user experience is something which is driving a lot of business.
Surely, because see, it's quite common sense that if I am going to my office and I need to wait for 10 minutes to get inside every day, I will
Yeah,
prefer not to go there. So you need to think about it from an individual perspective. It is not like you have a system and it does the function of recording the logs for the past 1 year who has entered and who has not entered. It is more about how that user is feeling using that system. It's like invisible. The terminology called invisible security is increasing a lot nowadays. So it's something which is there, but you can't feel it. So that's maybe the way ahead, I would say.
yeah, and it's a combination of multiple technologies working together, whether it is facial recognition, ANPR, QR codes, mobile, and various things working together to provide that experience. Yeah, so yeah, I mean that.
MyGate is a very good example, which works really nice in the apartments. At least here in Bangalore, every visitor management system, every tenant is using that MyGate visitor management system, which works very fine. It's just an application on your phone, and every phone has a
Yeah,
internet
for
connection.
a residential use case, definitely they have been one of the front runners today. Yeah, but I think the commercial spaces, the volume sometimes can be humongous in terms of digital.
Commercial spaces is different. You have a lot of option like speed gates and all, which you can always propose. So it depends on, again, it depends on the budget and how operationally what are the preferences. Yeah.
Great. Well, I think that there is so much discussion we can have and keep discussing this excellent topics and innovative ideas. But maybe when we meet next time, we can have a longer chat over a coffee.
Surely, like more than welcome anytime, Rohin, and your team as well. I think I met them back in that event, and they were really forward thinking and really impressive team, I would say.
Thanks for
Anytime.
being there at our event and sharing your ideas at the partner event which we had in Bangalore. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So thanks, Sohan. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for your insights about the industry, and we'll look forward to meeting with you in person sometime soon.
surely. Likewise. Pleasure meeting you.